Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen and ladies. I am your caster for the Phoenix Rising Esports Network. My name is Sparhawk. I am starting my A to Z playthrough where we are going to take a look at all the heroes and Heroes of the Storm in an A to Z format. And basically, going over various topics about them. So tonight, for my phenomenal pleasure, I have the man, the myth himself. I have Hiva. Hiva, say hi to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Awesome. Before we get going, if any of the volume levels are off at any point, please let me know and I can adjust. But tonight we're going to be discussing Abathur. We're going to be talking about the pros, the cons, viable maps that he's on. We're going to do a video replay of a winning game on Abathur. And then we're going to get Hive's final thoughts on the hero. And then if anybody in the audience would like to ask any questions of Hiva in regards to, maybe different divisions or, how he gets played, and then we'll address it from there. So first off, Hiva, let's tell everybody about yourself. Like, what team do you play for? What division do you play for? Just give everybody a brief overview.
Yeah, sure. I play on PRX, and we play in Div A, and I'm their DPS/flex player.
Awesome. Okay. So without any other further ado, let's start off and let's pop into the pros of playing Abathur. So when I asked you for the pros, you said to me global presence, vision control, passive macro pressure, and can empower hyper carries. Would you like to explain those in more detail for the audience?
Yeah, for sure. So, global pressure is obviously in his kit, right? So his Q can attach to anything on the map, and that allows him to grab XP from basically anywhere. And he can also hat his allies, right? So that gives them that.
Awesome. Now, when you're referring to hyper carries for Abathur, what kind of heroes are you referring to? Would it be, we understand that the Illidan, the Murky, the Valera, Samuro, heroes like that. But could Abathur also be viable on, say, maybe like a tank player or a healer or something? What are your thoughts on that?
So generally, when for the competitive build, you generally want to be hatting your hyper carry. So sometimes in like very niche situations, you could primarily hat the tank, but it's generally not optimal for the draft, if that makes sense.
Okay. And so basically, when you're talking hyper carries, and let me know if I miss a hero, but we're pretty much going like Valera, Zeratul, Murky, Samuro, Greymane, possibly an Imperius. Would there be anybody else that you would add to that list, in your opinion?
I think that list can be basically any hero that like thrives off of having extra support. So something like a Tracer, Genji,
Oh, right.
Sylvanas
Yes.
even.
Good.
Uh, yeah, a Malthael. Uh, yeah, like
Okay.
sort of the heroes that thrive in those kind of conditions where having just an extra support and just a little bit of extra empowerment really helps them carry games.
Okay. So it's really those heroes that are basically going to be in your face style heroes. Like that's their main focus.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. I don't think I have anything else to touch on. I think you've explained the pros of Abathur, which sounds really good. However, for those in the audience, with pros do come cons. So let's look at the cons of the hero. And again, when I asked Haiba, he said weak early game usually gives up a DPS slot. can be hunted pretty easily, and only true and viable on larger maps. So now would you like to explain those to the audience?
Yeah, for sure. So when you put Abathur into a draft, most of the time you're giving up another DPS slot, and in a lot of cases, that just lets the enemy team kind of run down your 3-man, right? So unless you're looking for picks in the 3-man, it's a lot of times not optimal to fight with an Abathur and pretend most of the time.
Okay. So you're
Uh,
looking for Abathur to really come online after level 10 kind of thing.
yeah, level 10 and beyond, and that kind of ties into the like his viability on bigger maps, because generally bigger maps tend to go later, and that's where Abathur really takes over.
And that is a beautiful segue into our next section, everybody, as we get to the maps that he feels, that Hiva feels Abathur is strong on. Let's bring that up. And you listed Cursed Hollow, Alterac Pass, Garden of Terror, Sky Temple, Volskaya Foundry, and Warhead Junction. And I 100% agree with all six of those maps. Um, are there any alternate maps that can be played on? Like, is Abathur viable in something like an Infernal Shrines or like a BOE? You know, if you know you're going to late game. I mean, what are your thoughts on the smaller 3-lane maps or even a 2-lane map in regards to Abathur?
I think for those smaller maps, a lot of the times it's if you're looking to sort of cheese, then Abathur might be like an okay pick. But like I said, a lot of it because those maps are so much faster, it really is difficult to fit him into a draft a lot of the times.
All right. And Dropping Babies in the chat is already asking a question, which is how exactly does Abathur contribute to macro?
Yeah, it's a good question. So um, another reason why Abathur thrives on those large maps is because the objectives kind of take forever, right? Like Volskaya takes forever. The cursed tributes can be stalled, garden tributes can be stalled, and so forth. So while like the enemy team is trying to like cap that trib or get the Triglav on Volskaya, Abathur can basically soak every other lane on his own, right? Giving you a macro lead in terms of XP.
Now, for the newer players who don't know Abathur or understand him, how does he go about doing that? Can you explain how the hat works that everybody talks about?
Oh yeah, so basically his Q can attach to any target on your team, and it just draws XP globes towards it, basically.
So he's
And you,
not necessarily there to, like, he can help clear the lane, but with the hat, he's able to pick up regen globes. Or not regen globes, experience globes.
yeah, and that's one of the main purposes, because you can't really clear waves with Abathur, but as the waves die, you just grab the XP.
Okay. Now, what we're going to do next, everybody, is we're going to be doing a video replay of one of Hive's Abathur games, and I'll ask him to stop it, or he may wish to stop it. Um, I'm going to probably stop you as we get to the talent tiers, and you know what you're going for, and why you're selecting certain talents. And if you want to stop and explain a thought process, or maybe something that we've already discussed, explain, see, this is how I'm soaking or whatever, you're more than welcome to stop as well.
Sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to get into the display, and we're going to wait for him to load his replay. And I might add, I perfectly executed a cut and crop, so this is like full, all full screen, not seeing anything off of his Discord, almost like I know what I'm doing.
Oh darn! I think my game crashed.
That's fine. Okay, I'm just going to pop back to our overall until you're ready to go.
Right, let me restream.
Yep. Hey, this is day one, so if we don't get bugs, that would just be too perfect. I mean, it can't happen that way.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go back to display. And now it's all up to you.
All right, here we go. Let's start.
Okay, so I've been told there's multiple builds, at least two viable. Like you can go hat build to cover your hyper carry, or you can go uh, not beetle build. His symbiotes or like whatever his minions that he spawns. And for those who are unaware, um, every few seconds, Abathur sends out one of his little beetle type things. What locusts? Yeah,
Locust,
locusts.
yeah, Locust.
And they go across the screen, and um, they're a bit stronger than minions. They don't give a lot of benefit, but if you end up hatting them, you can keep them in lane for getting a good amount of pressure. So, what did you take for your level one? Let's
So
discuss it.
if you look at our draft, it's a little unusual this game. We have three bruisers, Abathur and Lucio. So because our team is just gonna like run at them, I took pressurized glands, which improves the spikes, the AoE
Oh,
spikes.
okay. So
Yeah.
basically, you are going for you want to hat somebody on your party as opposed to like a locust build, which is more lane style heavy.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
I wanna hat people who are inside of the enemy team.
perfect. Okay, carry on. I won't stop you unless you want to stop until level four.
Yeah, so basically at the start I sort of place mines on the rotations to top and bottom just to watch where the enemy team will go, right? So here I'm doing that. And I try to place it on camps as well to see when they start certain camps.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, how far out does Abathur want to go? Like, he wants to stay in base. Is that correct?
You can go as far out as you want. Just you have to know where the enemy team is, basically.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I play Abathur, I actually run your same. I try and stay in mid so I can access variety more of areas. And having Lucio with a hat is really strong in my opinion. I mean, I ran it with like random and a few people, and you can just kill people left, right, and center once you're built up.
Yeah. But you'll see so because you are also a hero, you can soak XP like with your body. I immediately go to an empty lane with my body once I see that Malthael starts the camp there. I immediately tunnel bottom to go catch that soak. Is what I think I do. I should do that soon. Yeah, there we go. And that's why
Forethought,
he's so good at catching multiple lanes, right? Because you have your hat and you also have your body.
right? And in a situation like what you're doing, is you want the enemy minions to push towards your base so you can body soak those while you're getting XP in other places.
Yeah, exactly. If I know where the entire enemy team is, then I will actually step up very aggressively to soak. But if anyone is missing, it really is a little too risky to step up because if I die here, then we lose a lot of soak.
Right. Now, are there any restrictions as to who you can have and who you can't? Like, can you have a boss, so to speak?
I think the bosses are the only things you can't hat.
Okay. But any other siege, bruiser camps, you're able to?
Yeah, you can hat those. Yeah.
Okay. Because I always want to point stuff out to the viewers who may be new to Abathur.
Yeah. So level 4, I took Needle Spine. Basically, it's just because we need more damage because our team kind of lacks that.
Okay. So you took that over the attack speed.
Yeah, I find that none of our heroes really benefit too much from 25% attack speed,
Right?
except for maybe Baby Diva. But if I'm hiding a Baby Diva, that Baby Diva is probably dead, right? So
Correct.
yeah. Yeah, so I took Needle Spine just to get a little extra range too, because we're all melee heroes as well.
Yes, yep, makes perfect sense. And I also noticed that Abathur, we can just keep this playing while we're have this chat. But I also, you have to be all over the map with Abathur paying attention, so to speak. You always got to be looking everywhere.
Yeah, and I guess it comes with a benefit that because your hero at the click of a button can be anywhere, you don't really need to worry too much about where you put your body as long as you don't end up like wandering, right? Like you just plant yourself somewhere and then you have the freedom to just look around and pay attention to the mini map more.
Right? And again, for anybody who's in the audience, we are doing questions at the end. However, if you want to ask a question as we're going, please don't hesitate. Right? We'll take the time, we'll stop, and we'll explain it to you, just so we keep it fresh in your mind.
So unfortunately, we weren't able to stall that objective for very long, which is why our levels are, and we did die. So yeah, usually you want to try and stall that for as long as you can, but we just didn't really have the resources to do that.
Now, is that where you were saying, like, one of the cons of having an Abathur on your team? That could happen, or
Yeah, like we don't really, because we're missing a whole extra hero, we don't really have the ability to force on the objective 4v5 because the hat isn't that strong
correct? Yes.
at this level. So unless it's like a favorable position, like the next seed, there really is no purpose for us to force on the objective.
Oh, that was so close to a kill.
Yeah, yeah.
Feels bad, man. Okay, so what are you gonna take for 7?
So level 7 in like 99% of the like scenarios, you should take Mule just because it's the only thing in the game that can heal structures. And healing structures is really good if you have a weak early game, so it helps you stall better for the late game.
Okay, I have a question. I totally understand Mule, um, but what about the idea of being able to shield like people nearby you with the networked carapace? Or do you feel like you don't get a lot of value? I mean, I find with some of my games, if I had a person throw a shield, I mean, I'm shielding minions, and it really helps keep some pressure camps a bit stronger. So, and I totally understand the mule, but do you see a place where maybe network carapace could take precedence over the mule, or are you a firm believer in mule because of what it brings?
Yeah, I think Mule is just too good to give up
Okay,
in most scenarios because your early game will be quite a bit weaker. You just need the Mule to heal up all your structures.
okay,
That's the
I agree with you.
instruction. Especially if you use it off cooldown, it's a lot of extra healing.
And what is it, a 50-second timer?
Yeah, 60.
Okay.
Yeah. So the reason I'm still sitting mid is because their team is very spread, so I could technically die if I go body soak any of the lanes.
Right.
Once that I see that they're all um, going to the same lane, I can then tunnel to a lane. So that's another thing. He has his Z is basically a global that you can tunnel to anywhere you have vision on the map.
Well, when you will get a second, let's pause it before 10 and let's go over his abilities, both unhatted and hatted, if you wouldn't mind for everybody.
Yeah, sure. So his Q symbiote is uh is basically a targeted ability that you can cast on your allies, any ally basically, except for bosses, and it gives you access to three new abilities, a spine, needle spine. I don't know what they're called. A spike, burst, and like a shield. And those are all the abilities that you can use to like empower your team with the Q. And it does have a 4-second cooldown.
Okay, so what I was saying is you have two abilities when you're unhatted with Abathur. You have the ability to hat, and you have your minds, as well as Mule, because he took the talent. But when you hat somebody, it opens up the door to three new abilities. One is an AoE spike attack that is really effective. The other one is a single target. Well, it's an ability shot, so it's like basically a single target ability hit. And then your last one is a shield that you're able to put on people, and you could build into it to give like better shields, more regen, such like that.
Yeah. So his W is like we call it mines, but I guess it's called Toxic Nest, and it's a very very long range like sort of ward that you can place, and it's good for stalling rotations and such, and kind of like checking camps because so the mines don't explode until the camp has been aggressed. So it's and then you get vision of that camp for a short duration on the mini map. So that's what it's really good for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out because this is an A to Z. I mean, yes, people who are watching it probably know Abathur, but for the people who will be watching it in the future and may not understand Abathur, this is a guide to helping them as well. So carry on.
Uh, I guess so. His ultimate abilities. There's evolution where you clone an ally for a short duration with bonus spell power and attack damage, and then monstrosity, which kind of summons a giant minion that pushes a lane and also has a global.
Right, and we'll talk to them when we get to 10.
Yeah. Yeah, and then your passive just spawns a locust every 15 seconds, and this actually can collect XP if it gets the last hit
Oh, cool.
on a creep. Yeah.
That is good to know.
All right, I'll resume the video. Yeah, so another good thing to do as an Abathur player is sort of just letting your team know when you can actually put your symbiote on them. Because there is a 4-second cooldown. If you're clearing a wave and someone suddenly decides to all in and they need the hat and you can't hat them, then that's no good for them.
Now, do you usually let your team give you a warning? Okay, I'm going in soon. I'll be needing a hat, or do you just do it on your own and tell them that I'm hatting you?
I think it's both ways.
Okay,
Sometimes like yeah, like I would say like I got a hat for you, I got a hat for you, and then they'll know that they can go deeper. And then other times it's sort of like they'll be in danger and they need a hat, and then they'll say I need a hat, I need a hat, and then I'll look to hat them as soon as possible.
perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So now we're at level 10s.
Yeah.
So which ultimate do you decide? Do you prefer one over the other, or is it just map dependency?
I'd say 99% of the time it's ultimate evolution.
Okay,
Yeah. And then monstrosity is very very rarely picked because it's just much worse than ultimate evolution. Because your team is so weak pre-10, you really really need ultimate evolution a lot of the times to just start winning team fights, right? Versus monstrosity, which is just a push spot, which you don't really need
right.
most of the times, right?
No,
Because
I
you can
agree with
soak
you.
with your symbiote and your body anyways.
Right? No, that makes absolute sense. I mean, I'd rather clone a hero and use their abilities because I don't believe um, the Hydralisk or whatever it is that you spawn. It gets bigger as it kills minions, but I don't think it soaks experience unless you're there. And I could be in, or am I in error on that?
Yeah, you need to have your Q on it, and
Right.
or it needs to get the last hit, like your locust basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Another thing is when you're drafting Abathur is you need a good clone target, right? And good clone targets are heroes that have very good base kits and don't really you don't really need too many talents to get the most out of their kit. So
Okay.
something like Malthael is really good because the hero just has a really good base kit. And another thing, there's some interactions where when you have multiple of a hero, they benefit. For example, with Malthael, he can suck out of my Reaper mark, and I can use his Reaper marks as well.
Oh, perfect. Okay,
Yeah,
good to know.
and
So you gain the abilities of the heroes, but you don't gain the ultimates, is what it is.
yeah, you just gain the abilities, and they're buffed, right? You have
Right.
20% spell power and 20% damage. Yeah, that's what makes the Greymane clone so good,
Right.
because you can just one shot squishies.
Now, would there also be justification to say in this upcoming fight to maybe hat the Lucio for the extra healing power, or to like alter or to evolutionize like a healer for that healing ability type of thing, or is it most of the DPS you want to focus on when you're at it?
So a lot of the times, or at least for this comp that we have here, I'm just using my clone as a punching bag. So I'm
Okay,
just cloning at the beginning of the fight, and then just like eating as many abilities as I can with it, as you'll see in a bit.
okay, let's carry on.
Yeah, so I just like run at them, and yeah, I basically try to get it to die as fast as possible so that I can put my hat on someone and waste as much of their resources as I can.
And who did you clone in this fight?
I cloned
Malthael?
Malthael there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. And
the range for your phase shifting type thing that we'll call it, right? Being able to go from points like top of the map to bottom of the map. Is it as long as you have vision of that area, you can teleport to it?
yeah,
Like,
the range is unlimited as long as you have vision. So
okay,
yeah. A trick you can do for getting to places where you don't have vision is placing a mine first, and then you can tunnel on top of the mine.
perfect. That makes
Yeah.
sense. And just bear in mind though, when you drop a mine, it does take a couple seconds for it to become a vision spot for everybody who may or may not know.
Yeah. Takes a few seconds. Okay, there's not much happening, so I'm just gonna. It's a lot of just soaking with this comp.
Yeah, nope, that's totally fine. Like I say, we're going A to Z, so we're gonna deal with
Yeah.
that. We're going through all the healers, the heroes. I mean,
Yeah. Oh,
this is.
another
Oh, go
quick
ahead.
tip with the symbiote is so the cooldown of your Q is 4 seconds, and the cooldown of the shield is 6 seconds. So a cool thing you can do is quickly hat someone, shield them, and then take off your hat, and then you'll have a shorter cooldown shield.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
that is good to know. Actually, because I did not know that.
Yeah, that's not really an interaction that's used very much, but in like dire situations, it could come in handy to just save someone who just needs that extra little bit. Yeah, so I'm going top because I see their whole team is down here. And then I'm cloning the Malthael and just running at them. All right. Well, so level 13, I take in this game I take Soma Transference
Okay,
because we're so heavy melee. It will get a lot of value just from hitting a lot of random stuff.
right.
Yeah.
And you would want this talent when you're building the hat, like the symbiote build, as opposed to locust, right?
Yeah. Sometimes you can take spatial efficiency, but it's I don't think it's as good.
Yeah, I would agree on that
Yeah,
one.
because staying alive is better than not. So, and it also benefits from pressurized glands because its cooldown's reduced and the area is increased.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, as you see here, I'm just kind of like pretty exposed, but I know where their whole team is, right? So I'm not too worried about that. I'll just speed through this. Check to
Okay.
fizz. Yeah, it's more of the same stuff. You're shielding your structures and giving them a little bit of shield during like pushes is
Right.
sometimes a good thing. Yeah, so I'm hiding a little more now, right? Because I don't know where their team is,
Right.
and I don't wanna die.
Yeah. Whenever an Abathur dies, it's always a feel bad moment.
Yeah, you lose a lot of macro pressure. I guess you could say that having an Abathur die is equivalent to losing all three of like a Lost Vikings at once, kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm like walking up pretty aggressive because I see where their whole team is.
Right. So that's the trick with Abathur is really trying to capitalize really knowing where the enemies are, so you can become available somewhere else for doing whatever you need to do.
Yeah, and like you get so much more time to just look at the mini map, right? Because you don't have to do as much mechanically. So that really plays into just increasing your awareness naturally. Eh, Yeah, so I clone Malthael again, and I just run at them to sort of relieve pressure off my team. Because if they don't kill this clone, I can kill their backline, right? So
Oh, okay, makes
yeah,
sense.
and then I just go right back to soaking.
It's not a glorious job, but it's an effective job.
Yeah, if you look at the soak, I'm pretty high on the list just because I have that ability to soak so many lanes.
Right? And even your XP contribution is really high.
Yeah, and my damage isn't too bad either. I'm second on the team.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna level 16s.
Okay.
I took the slow. So at this talent, for hat build, it's really only Envenom spikes or adrenaline boost.
Now,
Um,
yeah, I was going to ask why the slow as opposed to the adrenaline boost.
it's just because I took pressurized glands at one.
Okay, so
It's
you're
just to
back
get
going off that range type of thing.
yeah, just to get more out of it, and because we're all melee, right? Just keeping them all closer to all of the melees is better than maybe speeding one person up into their back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, would like say you had a specific Zeratul or like Valera or something, would that be more consideration for the adrenaline boost? So they can get you can hat them, they can get that target quick, and if they have to run, they can get away quicker. Or no? Would you still probably go in them?
I'd probably still go Envenomed for
Okay.
like Zeratul and Valera. The only one where I would go adrenaline boost, like most of the time, is Tracer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so you take the shield at one for Tracer,
Right.
and then the speed shield, and she just runs away super fast and can chase down their backline as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah, so see, I'm helping my team clear a camp here because there's not really much else to do on the map.
Right.
And I think I go bot here with my body to soak that because so I kind of know that there's no point in clearing this yet. So I come down here to soak, and we do see that like most of their team on the northish side of the map.
All right. Well, the good thing with an Abathur and plays like this is, I mean, you know the team's going to try and set up a defense, whether it's 3-2 or like a 4-1 type thing. So it really does give you the freedom of reign, in most cases to be able to Because now if they see you, they have to try and start getting somebody down to you, which gives your team an advantage. Because as soon as you see someone disappear from the map, you're like, okay, I have to play safe.
Yeah, and I think the great thing about like winning an objective is a lot of the times they won't even like care about the Abathur because
Right?
the four-man is way more threatening. What the four-man can do to like pressure keeps and stuff is way more than what an Abathur will really do to pressure a lane, right?
Nope. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, guys, I'm being kitty cat attacked, so I'm trying to make sure my screen doesn't get foobarred. He's out here laying on his belly, just like, rub me.
Or I'll speed up again. It's a lot of the. This game was really a really long one.
No, that's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
like I say, especially with Abathur, when it comes to being able to share, as much as we can about the hero, so when people want to try and play it or possibly start playing it, we're giving them lots of information to be aware of going forward,
Yeah. Yeah, so here I clone and again I just kind of like run at the back line.
right?
And they're wasting abilities on me so that these guys can sort of escape.
And for those who may watch this in the future and do not know, um, when you ultimate evolution someone, you actually have a set timer, but it lasts quite long or until they kill you. So when you do ultimate evolutionize hero, it's really in your best interest to really be aggressive on whichever hero you have, so that they do focus you. It gives your team a chance to get away, get safe, and all they're killing is basically a shade.
All right, I'm just gonna skip to level 20.
Okay.
So level 20 is where Abathur pretty much becomes an OP hero because he becomes two of himself basically.
Right, yeah, and I love Hive Mind. That's what I usually take. The double hat. It can
Yeah,
it's just wrecking damage. Go ahead.
Hive Mind is basically like the pick 99.99% of the time.
I would agree.
Like if you don't pick Hive Mind, you're either stomping or you're trolling your team.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So a cool thing with Hive Mind is if you hat like a structure or like a creep, if you have an ally nearby, it'll still put the second hat on your ally. So if you're defending a structure, you can give the structure shields while also giving your ally a hat.
Oh, that's good to know. However, it doesn't work with minions and such, does it? If I'm right.
Yeah, no, it doesn't attach the second hat to minions.
But if a hero comes by, it'll attach a hat to the hero.
Yeah, if a hero comes by, it'll attach a hat to the hero. Yeah, I think that's really all there is to this game. It's just kind of the same stuff over and over until the end.
Okay, well, it's
Yeah.
entirely up to you. We can watch it play out. I don't think anybody's going to have a mind, or we can just go to the closing screen and
I
move
have a
forward from
second
there.
replay.
Oh, do you want to
That
do a second one? Okay. Okay, while you're loading that up, I'm going to play our intro again. The hero while we wait for Hiva to get back. And so far, the explanation I think has been going rather well.
Yeah, there's just something about opening the replay with an old version of the game.
Yeah, I know. That's so stupid. Do you think they would have fixed it by now? Oh, wait, we don't really have developers anymore.
Skeleton Crew.
But again, everybody in the audience, after we do this next replay, we will be going to a Q&A. So if you do have any questions that you haven't asked during the stream, we're willing to take questions. And I'll also promo at the moment that I will be doing Alex Straza next. I'm hoping to find an Alex Straza person during the week, and I'd like to try and pump another video out next Sunday if I can. I will keep everybody up to date with my plans and how it goes, but I like, because there are like 87 odd heroes, I want to try and get, if I can do once a week, I want to do once a week. And that means, for anybody in chat, if you feel comfortable talking about a specific hero, please sign up. It's pinned in the off-topic chat, and I'd love to have you on board. All right, so let's get back into the game.
Yeah, this one, it's another Garden of Terror game. Yay! But so our comp this time has a much stronger sort of like early pick potential. So we do, this is like one of those like we do fight before 10 and snowball with it.
Awesome.
I'm doing the sort of same thing, mining the rotations. And I took a pressurized lands again, just because Tychus will usually be in range, and so Sonya, Garrosh, and Uther will always be in range.
Yeah, you have incredible hat targets in
Yeah.
this comp, like every single one of them. Now, when you drop a mine, sorry, not a mine, yeah, I guess I'll call it a mine. About how long does this stay active for? I know if you go like Locust build, you can increase its duration and such, but just a general overview, like how long does it, when you drop one, does it last for you?
I think it's a minute and a half.
Okay, so it's still
Yeah.
pretty good time.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, 90 seconds. Yeah. All right, I'll just skip to the talents. I do end up going attack speed this game because we have a Tychus and Sonya, and so both those heroes really and it's better than Needle Spine in terms of
Right.
the damage output. Yeah.
So you're going to the attack speed because it'll help everybody on your team. Basically.
Yeah, it'll help the people that I'm gonna be putting my symbiote on.
Right.
Like, so this game, unless like they're dying, I probably won't ever put my symbiote on Uther or Garrosh.
Okay.
Yeah, or like unless they call for it or are dying. Yeah, because like I'd rather get more damage out of our DPS.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Now I noticed that you're positioning yourself top more for the start of this game. Is that just to get the soak up there and to push that lane?
Oh yeah, so I'm positioning myself opposite to where the objective is spawning.
Right. Okay.
Because that's more likely for them not to be there, and then I can soak with my body and soak the other lanes with my Q.
Makes sense.
Yeah. Because like right now I see that like, well, I don't see Kel'Thas, but he's most likely going to fight because they're engaging on our team.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
just kind of step up here without any fear.
Yeah, Kael'Thas isn't one to really run up on its own too often. He's
Yeah.
so squishy, he wants his team so he can do stuff like he just did there.
Yeah. There's my team clumping. But yeah, like I'm standing super forward because I know I can.
Oh, nice toss.
Yeah. So level 7, I go mule again, and it's just too good. And another thing you can do with it is because you can hat your mule, so you can do like cheeky stalls with it too. Because you can throw the mule down on like the tribute and then hat it and stall for like a couple extra seconds. That's
Oh, I did not know that. That's good. So the mule doesn't have a short distance. Does it have basically Abathur's range to be dropped then?
I think it's global
Well,
as
that's
long as you
cool.
have vision. Yeah, and like you can sometimes if someone's like running away with 1 HP, it's like not optimal, but you can like drop a mule and then hat it and then kill them.
That's very optimal.
Yeah.
I mean, when an Abathur with anything like a minion who's had it and gets a kill on a hero, I mean, that's just like, oh yeah, I'm doing my job right. You know?
Yeah, yeah. So this game I troll my team and I pick monstrosity,
All right,
but it's because like we're already so ahead. We're killing things without evolution already, so
all
it's
right.
like I might as well uh kill structures faster.
And to be honest, I mean, evolved monstrosity every time it's killing minions. Um, it gets bigger and bigger and stronger, and it can actually be stronger than some push camps. So it's actually there's nothing wrong with going to monstrosity. You know, as long as like you said, if you're ahead, it could be worth it. If you're comfortable with what your team has done so far, and 4-0 is usually a good reason. I mean,
Yeah,
and it can dive and burrow and just get experience,
yeah. Like right here, I'm running down Kel'Thas because
right?
what is he gonna do?
Yeah, and you're still like three people attacking, and you took all that damage. I mean, so for those who've never taken monstrosity, it's something to play with because it can give oh, a nice toss.
Yeah,
It can take lanes, and it can really do a lot of pressure in lanes.
yeah. That's kind of the only thing I wanted to point out about this game is I took adrenal overload and I took this worse ultimate, but whatever.
It does have value. It does have merit, but you just need to know um, when it's right to want to take it. Right. So if
Yeah,
if you're behind, it should always be evolution. If you're comfortably ahead, like 7-1 in kills, it's okay to play a little bit, but you really need to let your team know what you're taking so that they know you're either trolling your own team, right, or you're going to be helping them out.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, all right. That's pretty much it for this one.
Okay, well, let's go to the closing scene. And here, uh, tell me your final thoughts on Abathur as a whole. Give me a rating scale on viability, of where you think he sits, um, and then we'll go to the audience for any questions they may have before ending this.
So I guess in terms of viability, I'd give him maybe like a 6 or 7, simply because it's not optimal to like pick him on every map, right? Like some heroes, doesn't matter what map it is, you can just lock it, right? But Abathur, it really depends on the map and your type, your comp as well.
Okay, so what you're saying is, Abathur has potential, but if you're new to him, you don't want to bring him into competition until you're really comfortable with him. And then if your team lets you bring him, you really need to be aware of what your team comp is that's going with the Abathur. Would that be suffice to say?
Yeah, and like you can't just throw him into any team comp. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
Like if you're gonna pick Abathur, you need to make an Abathur comp. Like you build your comp around Abathur, not the other way around.
So that would be the same as a hammer then, comp, like Sergeant Hammer.
Yeah, sure. Some like these like sort of cheesy things.
All right. Okay. Well, if you unless you have anything else you'd like to add, I'm going to throw it to the floor for any questions they may have to have in regards to you, in regards to Abathur. And we're only talking Abathur, so don't start dissing the man, right? But if anybody has any questions in regards to what we watched tonight and or Abathur in general, please feel free to ask. We'll give a couple minutes, and if we don't get any questions, then we will close this off.
Yeah, let's open it to questions.
It. What are your thoughts on Abathur solo support, and when would it be viable?
So Abathur solo support is like it can be played, but it's only viable if your team composition has like its own ways to like sustain themselves, or like on maps where you don't really need to be in a sustained fight. Like so we did this thing in the season where we did Abathur, three stealth heroes, and Deathwing.
Oh, nice.
So that's one of like the one of our solo support Abathur comps where like if we don't instantly kill like the targets, right, we just lose the fight. So like having a healer doesn't matter anyways. So we might as well get Abathur for a little extra damage and macro pressure.
Okay, so basically, what you're saying is, if you really are trying an off the wall comp, like triple stealth or something, that would be an actually plausible time to bring Abathur in. You know, um, However, if you're running a traditional comp, Abathur would probably be less viable, except for the maps that you had listed.
If you're trying to run him as a solo like solo healer, then yeah,
Yes.
it's basically like if you're gonna run him as a solo healer, you have to kill them before they kill you.
Right. No, you're 100% right. All right. Any other questions from the audience? And I 100% agree, Meta Melter. Uh, I love when I get to play Abathur with a Valera in my comp because we usually end up racking like 20 plus kills for Valera, and it's just everybody's just afraid of the stealth. So I 100% agree. To me, I think Valera is probably one of the best hat targets. That and Lucio. What would you think on those two, Hyba? Would you agree or disagree?
um, I wouldn't say the best hat target. I think like probably. I mean, if it's in the hands of like a one trick, probably Samuro is the most toxic one.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
nothing like 6 images to go at somebody.
Yeah, because like if the Samuro player is really like really good, you basically can't touch him because he'll always he's just too slippery, right? Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other questions that we have for Hiva before we call this first edition A to Z playthrough with Sparhawk and the Phoenix Rising organization? Again, tonight we brought you Abathur. As soon as I can lock in a Strata player, I will be putting that video out as quick as I can. But are there any other questions that we have? From the Lazy Hydra, what would you consider the best answer to Abathur, and how would you best deal with them when you have to face them?
Okay, so because his early game is like kind of bad and like he doesn't actually clear waves, like teams that just like run at your structures and like kill them really early, clear waves really early are pretty good because they create a lot of early pressure that they deal with. So
Like
things like
you wouldn't want to run an Abathur into like an Asmodan comp type thing, right?
I mean, Asmodan doesn't really fight, so like it's not the worst because you just kill them at 10. But things like Zool, I think it's a Haka even. sort of things with like really good wave clear and like presence in like multiple lanes are good.
Okay, so like even like a false dead type of thing,
Yeah, Falstad is
or
pretty good as well.
even
Yeah.
a Brightwing. Would you consider a Brightwing a threat to Abathur if she can poly onto a minion if you're too
Uh,
far forward, or no?
I don't think she's a threat, but she's a good like retaliation pick, if that makes sense. Just to, like if the enemy team really has nothing to soak multiple lanes, Brightwing is decent for that.
All right. Well, I think we have taken enough of Piva's time. Unless there's any more questions, I'll leave it about a minute, and then we will end the stream and call the official first post of the Phoenix Rising Network A to Z Heroes of the Storm playthrough done. I really want to thank Paiva for coming on board. He contacted me a long while ago with Abathur saying he was ready to do this, and I really appreciate the insight that he brought. And again, listen to what he said. It works for low rank players all the way up to high rank. I play Abathur, and I learned a couple new things tonight, so I'm really excited to put them into practice. Um, Again, I am hoping to get, as soon as I lock in an Alexstrasza, I will put on a post. So anybody in chat, if you know somebody in the organization who is a really good Alexstrasza player, I don't care about division because I want to get a division perspective as well. So not necessarily pro players, but how even like division D and E take that hero and play that hero. And I'm going to do this with all my heroes. So please don't hesitate to sign up. I personally want to thank Haiva for taking time out of his holiday and joining me and having this done. So thank you, sir, very much.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime.
All right. So if there are no more questions, I will bid you guys adieu. Let this be the official first. Please, you can use general chat to share any comments or DM me things I can do better, or things that you'd like to see that I haven't added. Again, this is just a project put in motion, and I really want to move forward to this. So I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing people possibly next week, regardless the next week after. Because if I have to do it myself, I'll play Alexstrasza and I'll do an Alexstrasza video. So again, on behalf of Hydra and myself, I want to say thanks to all who tuned in. Really appreciate it. And if you are new to Phoenix Rising HotS, you're going to see a lot of videos coming up on this pretty consistently. So please leave a follow. And again, thank you, Haiva, for joining me. I really respect your knowledge and what you brought. So thank you very much.
Yeah, my pleasure.
And with that, everybody, have a great evening. We're done. Peace. Love you all.